Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, the home of Leicester City talk on YouTube. Fan debates, live watch-alongs, post-match reactions, and all the Foxes banter you could ask for. Subscribe now and see the game through Blue Tinted Glasses.
Just into race clear. He's got Jamie Vardy with him. Jamie Vardy sets off. Jamie Vardy! Back here for Darwin. Oh, he scored! An absolute belter! That is trademark Abdul Fatahwood.
This one into the box. Nugent over the top. Oh, what a goal! David Nugent's just scored a beauty. He's made Forest look like fools.
Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Blue Tinted Glasses.
Oh yeah, get
and
those fucking glasses on.
We have some very, very good news if you've been living under a rock and haven't seen it yet. Leicester City have parted, well not parted ways, sorry. Leicester City have confirmed, or John Percy's confirmed, that Jon Rudkin is no longer the director of football. No longer the director of football. So, before we talk about it all, sorry, Neil, you were waving your flag there, weren't you, mate?
Oh, yes.
Wave the fucking flag for that. Bring it up one more time. Do another rodeo. Oh my god, I cannot believe it.
We're back. We're back.
Yeah. Okay, so let's discuss this. So we're going to bring up the article first, and then we'll talk about it all. So, John Percy with the Percy Bomber. Just for somebody asking to dumb it down, Rudkin is not the director of football anymore. So, Leicester director of football Jon Rudkin to move upstairs in major overhaul. Exclusive club plan to appoint first ever technical director to take control of recruitment and scouting. So, director of football to move upstairs. Championship club Leicester are aiming to appoint their first ever technical director in what represents a clear shift in strategy for owner Ayawat Srinivasan. So, relegated twice in 3 seasons, Leicester's board has come under severe pressure from supporters in recent years over the club's setup. Rudkin, a former academy coach, has emerged as the main target following a turbulent period in the club's history. Telegraph understands that while Rudkin remains a key figure in the club's hierarchy, the plan is to appoint a new technical director to take control of recruitment and scouting. Leicester have accepted that the club require more experience, expertise and personnel with other football departments also to be reshaped. While Rudkin will remain the director of football, okay, so there we go, so just to confirm that, the introduction of a technical director feels very significant. Traditionally, a technical director is responsible for the overall management and strategic direction of the football aspect of a club, overseeing recruitment, coach development, performance analysis, sports science and strategy. The new appointment will be expected to work closely with Martin Glover, Leicester's head of senior recruitment. Top is leading the recruitment process and the search for a new technical director is already underway. Leicester are prepared to pay compensation for any target who is already in work. Leicester will also look to recruit in other leadership areas with a new chief exec and commercial director. Top, the club's chairman, is currently interim chief exec after the departure of Susan Whelan. What did I just read there? Sorry. From Anil. Clear signs in acknowledging past mistakes. I'm just seeing if Doc, you've read this. Is there anything else here that is worth reading out, mate?
No, go up. That was
the communication there, the interview club
the
media
interview is set to be
second.
released later today. So apparently later today we will have an interview from Top from the club themselves. If you
where have I missed that?
Oh my god, it's going to be a late night, lads.
Go a bit down. Go a bit down. It was just before you paused reading, like just after you paused reading before. Blah blah blah. This is the last. It mentions the club interview right there at the very least.
Sorry. Okay.
But go back to why you just stopped reading. You'll see it right below. So maybe a bit before that. Yeah, stop. There we go.
He is expected to address supporters in an interview to be released on Leicester's official channels later on Friday. Okay, so the rumoured interview that we've heard about for the last week or so is now confirmed, obviously. And that is going to be coming hopefully today. If it is, you know that we'll be live for it, obviously. Rudkin could so there was another bit here I wanted to see. This is at last a clear sign that Leicester accept their football setup is broken, or at the very least can operate far better. The aim is to strengthen the club in all areas. Top's interview with the club media is also a good start. Okay, with club media. Okay, so maybe he's doing one with the club to begin with, and then it will be with other. We've heard of another source doing it soon.
Right?
The search for the first technical director has already begun. While some fans will be sceptical over Rudkin's continued involvement, his move upstairs suggests that more responsibility will be given to new appointments. It is understood that despite the changes looming, Rudkin is still regarded as essential to the day-to-day running of the club. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about it. Get your comments in, everybody, by the way. Keep getting them in. Nil, mate, how are you feeling, pal? How are you feeling?
That is genuinely amazing. I just said to you guys off air, I think people watch Blue Tinted Glasses. We did a show in the summer called How to Fix Leicester City. And two of the big things we said they need to communicate more with the fans. Looks like that's happening. And we said we need to get in a sporting director. And we actually said, with controversially, not to fire John Rudkin because he's been there for a long time. He did help us win the Premier League, the FA Cup promotions. So keep him around. Don't just completely disregard him, but bring someone else in. We actually said call him the head of King Power Sports or some whatever. They're going to just keep his name for whatever and then actually have someone take over. So huge. I mean, obviously, what I will say is it does sound great, but I mean, there's no guarantee that the person coming will be good straight away. You could go through several. Like Norwich have got a struggle right now with their technical director, but I mean, this has been needed for a long time. You can just see the club is pretty hopeless. So yeah, I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Doc, so an interesting part of all of this, mate, is the fact that this comment from here, from Curtin. So if Rudkin is still DOF, what actually changes? Don't know if we need a technical director or a new DOF. I mean, you obviously Copenhagen fan, right? And European clubs do usually, it's more European, right, where you get technical directors and director of footballs. And
I mean, I think the main sentiment I want to get out of this, it sounds by the way you read the article very much like, Rudkin will still keep his fancy title. He'll likely still be the right-hand man to Top, but the impact he will have on the day-to-day running is different. He might still be responsible, just for behind-the-scenes stuff, but he won't be responsible for, if you open the article again, I think it said recruitment, scouting, coaching plan, like all of these things that goes into running a football club. Like essentially, the director of football role will be going into someone new, and Rudkin will still be having the fancy title, the payday. You'll still see him in the owner's box alongside Top, but he will much more likely, from the way I read the article, just be an advisor who will still be a part of the club, which is something I've said on a stream before. If you can't fire him because of the emotional attachment to him during him being there, when you've lost your father, I can accept that Top, but at the very least surround him by competence who can do the heavy lifting and do the things where he is quite clearly not competent enough. And that sounds like what is happening with departments being reshaped and restructured, so Rudkin won't have 700 tasks he is neither capable nor has enough time to all put 100% energy into. So things will change, and then it's just about getting the right competence in and the right people to fill in those gaps that have now been opened up by this restructuring.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment here from Cameron. Nothing is going to change. Top and Rudkin is still there. I think that's wrong, mate. Things will change, in my opinion.
That's a wrong mindset. That's a wrong mindset.
That is the wrong mindset.
If it's the same in 3-4 years, fair enough. But it's a long process, right? You're not going to in a month see the club be ran completely differently. We might in a month see the appointment being made because it's a big appointment. You have to get it right, and we have to accept that as well. This is the correct start. It's the right decision being made, and we'll see what changes it has overall. We'll see when the new technical director gets announced and hopefully does a nice long interview. Maybe they come on Blue Tinted Glasses explaining their vision just briefly. That would be phenomenal. That would be another step in the right direction.
They should. So, they don't have to reveal all the things,
but
that is exactly what.
But we gotta now hold our hands up. We've been calling for this for a while. They are essentially doing it while just being nice to Rudkin and keeping him with the nice title and the luxuries that comes with being in such a position, right? And now we've got to see if they can do it right. We've got to be open for whoever they bring in. And maybe someone has knowledge of people. I think Phil Radley, who's left FC Nordsjælland and their academy after being there for 10 years would be a good shout. He's British as well, worked in Denmark for 10 years under Nordsjælland and developed, talents like Mohamed Kudus there. I think something like that would be interesting, but we'll see who they come up with. I do like the fact that they're willing to pay compensation. That means we're not just going for the best of the freeloaders. If they feel like they have a right fit, they will pay whatever it takes to get that individual in, and that's a good start.
Yeah. I mean, and Neil, we just read as well that apparently they're willing to pay compensation as well. If think back, Neil, to the summer when there was rumours of George Friend. Do you remember George Friend? Friend rumours. Yeah. Who was like a sporting director, or, at one of the clubs. Was it
Bristol? Yeah.
Bristol, something like that. Yeah. But no, I mean, look, mate, like, I understand, Anil, that people will be sceptical, of course, and I think rightly so when you hear that Rudkin is still here and he is still director of football. But there's no doubt that this is a positive step forward.
I mean, and also Susan Whelan went, so that's massive changes in terms of the hierarchy for the club. Now, these things don't happen overnight, but I think it is big. I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. We obviously will judge it by what the long-term results are, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty important. What I would say as well is you mentioned a compensation. That suggests to me that they have someone in mind that they're going to aggressively go and get. It wouldn't surprise me. Who's the Sunderland director of football? Ipswich.
I don't think we're going to get him.
No.
You say that, Locks, but if you double someone's salary, you'd be surprised. And
I think as well, Leicester is still an interesting prospect, right? If you come in being in charge of setting the direction of a football club who has some of the best facilities in the world, an elite academy set up, a good stadium still, which has been announced a plan for expansion that you could help realize if you do this correctly. It is an exciting prospect. Yes, there are still bad things right now. The squad is not great and everything in between, but you could really be the hero. I've just reading from the article quickly as well about what the technical director will like to do, right? Percy says, overall management and strategic direction of the football aspects of the club, overseeing recruitment, coach development, performance analysis, sports science and strategy. So if all these things comes into the revamped departments, while John Rudkin might still have his title, he probably won't be doing too much. He'll probably just be more of an advisor to Top, which is fair enough if that's what he wants.
Am I right in saying, Anil, that that former Man City one's out of a job?
Ooh.
Yes, technically.
That would be fucking good.
You appointed in your FM, Chicky Begastarian, could be free. We had a few candidates as well that were on there. I'll have to have a look to see who has now been freed up in the summer. But the thing is, I mean, that obviously sounds good, but that's when you've almost got like a blank check and infinite money to spend. You got to have someone, that's why I think Ashworth probably is got to be high up the list, because he was there at Brighton as they made their ascendancy from Championship to Premier League. Because otherwise you could get we mentioned in the summer the ex-Atletico Madrid one, Andrea Berta, but is that relevant for a team that's in the Champions League every year versus in the Championship? Maybe. I mean, we do need to completely overhaul everything. I mean, that sounds good, because the thing that all the fans have said, which is true, is that after Enzo went, to go from Enzo to Steve Cooper was madness. It's just absolute madness. It's just it doesn't make any sense. Just purely from a stylistic point of view, we've ended up with all these problems.
Yeah. Let me look at some of the... Cameron, this is the wrong mindset, man. You're just... This is when people get accused of having agendas, because there's a step forward, there's a positive change, and you're just shooting it down. So that's... I get you're skeptical, that's fine, but you keep saying the same thing about polishing a turd. This is a step forward.
Add to that quickly, right? I think it's important to remember, if the new technical director gets given the power they need to have, Top will simply just be believing in them, right? If they make the right decisions, Top won't be making the decision. He'll just be signing off on them. So presumably, whoever he hires is someone he has enough faith in to simply just be a doll, going, that's a good decision. I write off on that. Sign the check for whatever the new technical director wants to do. If that doesn't happen, obviously in 2-3 years time, depending on how this all develops, you might be able to criticize it, because Top might come out that he's still, having too much power, making decisions, denying whatever the technical director wants to do. But right now, with these news that are very positive, I think we should have a positive mindset going into it, and faith, because this shows that Top has recognized the problems at the club and wants to try and fix them, which is, if he wasn't going to leave, this is the best possible scenario. Now people need to, get behind this and back this and do whatever we can to make this successful. Because if you're going to be negative from the first second, whoever comes in. I mean, what's it realistically going to change if the fans aren't going to get behind the team?
I was going to say, so there will be sections that try and take this as something that they've been responsible for. But no, the chants on the weekend would not have played a part in this. This would have been a decision that was made.
This happened a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've just heard from Percy as well that it's already began the what's the word I'm looking for here?
The process was already underway.
Well, when this interview drops, we're obviously going to have. I mean, look at that. People have become. Thank you, Ash, becoming members with this good news. But yeah, when this interview drops, we're going to have to go through it like an analysis.
Fine-tooth comb, right? Just reading between the lines. But yeah, I think maybe the fact that there's been, for a long time now, outspoken support and a lot of valid criticism, I feel like, because at the beginning, you could obviously say it's a bit naive, it's just one relegation or whatnot, obviously a shambolic one still. But with the extended period of failures now from the current higher-ups, and I think the right criticism, I'm not going to sit here and say we're the ones responsible for it, but a lot of people coming out with valid criticism and valid feedback to why this isn't working, the current setup, maybe that's helped that decision-making, right? Because obviously the club sees what not just, Blue Tinted Glass are putting out, but other channels around the show. People on Twitter who come with, 20-page threads about why stuff isn't working or tactical tweets, whatnot. The club is obviously aware of that, right? Like, I think it's clear the valid criticism that has been going on for so long and for such a consistent period of time probably has helped clear Top's mind up that has to accept that something has to change.
Yeah, I was going to say that there was a comment here saying guaranteed the process probably started in the summer. I mean, now that it's being leaked or being announced, by the club officially tonight, it might even suggest that they've found somebody.
Yeah,
and that maybe somebody will be coming in soon. If they're not already here, like that. That's also a possibility. But yeah, I mean, there's a comment here, obviously, which Anil said as well. To be fair, Ashworth laid the foundations at Brighton. There was another comment I want to bring up saying, Michael, didn't think I would see this happen so soon. Leicester fans got to be happy. I mean, you say so soon, Michael. I think Michael's the Wrexham fan, if I'm not mistaken. If it's the same Michael. Yeah, it could have been done. As I suspect, it's legal stuff that needs sorting. Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, Steve says. So, who's going to be the next scapegoat?
The new technical director, obviously.
Yeah. And it's important we give them time, right? They got to do turning a sinking ship like this around, right? It's a big organization with a lot of moving parts. Turning that in a brand new direction for whoever comes in, what they decide. It's not going to be one transfer window and the whole squad will be different, the whole playing style and everything will be different. It's a long process. It's going to take, I'd say, at least a year to see meaningful change. So people got to be aware of that and back whoever comes in, get behind the lads and hopefully start pushing this big ship of an organization towards the right direction. Because it can't just be 1-2 losses under the new technical director and all of a sudden they're the next Satan. Like, it can't be like that. People need to get behind whoever comes in and give it time, trust the process, because hopefully whoever comes in has the competence that we can all believe in and give them that vote of confidence and time to build something at Leicester.
And Neil, let me ask you this, mate. I mean, a new man comes in, that might also affect the manager situation, the current manager.
It could.
That although I do have a suspicion that they probably would have told the manager that something like that is happening. But I mean, Marty's only on a 2-year contract. So, I mean, you can clear. I've always felt that meant that they, could axe him if need be in the summer. If he keeps going on, you have a longer term appointment. That said, I'm pretty sure. Go on, yeah. Sorry,
no, I was going to say this to you as well, Anil, for you to comment on. And also, it kind of does add up, don't you think, with how we didn't spend a single penny in the summer? Why spend money on players in the summer when this change is going to come?
Yeah.
And you might have a technical director that comes in who might look at the players you've just bought and go, what the fuck have you just signed? Do you know what I mean?
What is doing for £10 million or whatnot, right? Like,
that is actually smart. So for that and the communicate, I mean, that's the thing is that they said this. I mean, maybe again, it'd be interesting to the interview because maybe I wanted to say all this stuff in the summer, but I couldn't because there's a lot of stuff to take care of. But I mean, like I say, this new person, they got to be doing a lot of communicating or Top himself way more often. Like I say, they got to bring us along with them with the journey. A lot of people are bringing up the Norwich guy at the moment who's getting absolute pelters, which I think is a good point, right? But, you know, still the communication stuff is necessary. But yeah, I think you're bang on, Locks, that would make sense because that's the mistake they made in the past, right? Is spending too early, like giving Cooper too much say, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Now, with a change in structure, and a technical director come in, stuff like this, if I bring it up, 1 second. Here we go. Stuff like this might change. So Leicester give managers too much say on transfers. Time for the technical director to buy players not who the manager wants, but that are best for the club.
But that will, and I want to say that will work in unison, right? Because the technical director will have a manager who aligns with the long-term vision of Leicester and how they want to play football going forward. Do we want to play possession-based, attacking football, direct football, whatnot? That's a foundation that the technical director will believe in when they come in, and they will then, have a manager who also believes in that philosophy, so that the things will align. And if the manager then goes because performances aren't there, then the next manager who comes in will probably have a fundamental same belief of how football will be played and fit the squad that the technical director has been building. Like it should be that simple at the end of the day, right? And hopefully that is what will happen. I'm very excited to see if the new technical director will be in for the January window and if that will show a bit. But I think it's clear for a while that something has been murky. And I think, Anil, you even mentioned this in some of the shows we did just when the off-season began, right? Or the break, the fact that like something was happening. It was too quiet for nothing to be going on behind the scenes. And that kind of culminated in nothing happening for June and July. And then all of a sudden, manager change, a lot of signings on the last day of the window and outgoings, but without any money spent. And then with Whelan going, it was clear something bigger was happening behind the scenes. And it's nice to finally see it come out that it's a positive change they're looking for, right? And not just looking to it could have been positive if they wanted to sell as well, to be honest, and they got a good investor in. But it's good to see that they're making what I believe is one of the right decisions they could have made. And now it's all about the quality and competence they can get in not just the technical director, remember, the new CEO as well, and commercial director. It's many departments. It's basically all of our fundamental income streams that will have new heads responsible for everything, right? Like that's the way we get our money, the commercials, the transfer revenue, and everything in between will be under new guidance. So it's a really exciting time all of a sudden to be a Leicester fan, although it might not feel that way for the next half a year while, the growing pains will likely be there. But it could be the time of new direction.
Just to clarify for the people that are just joining and haven't read the article yet. So, he's not left the club, nor, unlike what I said at the start, nor has he left the role of director of football. He is still director of football, but there's a restructure that will be happening at the club. A technical director will be coming in, and that person will be handling the strategy, the club strategy, the recruitment, the scouting, and things like that. So Rudkin will just have less power. I wonder who falls under where. So the director of football is still above the technical director, though, right?
Yeah.
So Rudkin will still be the one to fire managers and sign stuff off?
He will probably be the one signing off. We don't know for sure. It could be the technical director has that power. Yeah. But what I will say, even if it is Rudkin, I think it's likely. I don't know how it works in the UK, but in Danish politics, for example, after a vote, there is a Queen's round, or now it's a king, we have a king now, where the party members go in and talk to the king saying this is the one supposed to be prime minister. And the king is theoretically signing off on the general election, but it is the vote of the people that counts. The king can't say no to whatever the prime minister wants to do, even though they have to sign off on all laws. Because if parliament decides it, the king is just, I don't know the right word for it in English, but it's just, it's just a visual that they are there having the executive power. They just sign off on whatever the parliament wants to do. It could be the same here, where whatever the technical director wants to do can't actually do it, but Rudkin is just,
I think, Andreas, sorry to interrupt, but what I think will happen is to give credit to John Rudkin. John Rudkin has been running those academies for a long time. And I think that's what his job will still be. So I still think that he will, on a day-to-day basis, liaise with all the under 18s, the under 15s, managers, training and physics. Because to give them some credit, right? Since Seagrave has been made, you're looking at the level of player that's coming through now, like Lewis Page, Jeremy Munger, Jake Evans, and even before that, to some degree, Harvey Barnes, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. So he's not like he's a complete bozo in that department. In fact, in that aspect, he's probably quite good. So I think that's what his job will be. He'll still be relying on that. He himself was, by the way, like a training ground manager back in the day, right? Before he got this job. So he could go back to doing that. And then that's why I'm saying, I think for him to just completely depart the club right away as well would have been a mistake, because he's still got that knowledge and experience and knows everyone has got the kind of books. You need that at least for some sort of transition period. Even if he's not going, then it's still, think it could be useful that he goes back to that and develops the youth and helps, because that's what we really need. I mean, that's how you got to cheat code your way. I mean, even if you've got the best scouting in the world, the ability to continually produce, new talent coming through is very, very important. And what's his name? Is it Darren Motzi or whatever? That's, Jeremy Monger's got the record.
The new 15-year-old or whatever.
He's the Jeremy Monger regen, and Jeremy Monger's
and Jeremy Monger is still breaking through the first team.
Yeah.
Michael says here, Michael Williamson came from Inter Milan to Wrexham as CEO. The Hollywood owners brought in smart football people to do the day-to-day. Rob Ryan admitted they didn't know anything. Although the smart football people did sign Conor Cody and Danny Ward, so I don't know how smart they actually are.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, right? And I think it's important to be prepared that there will be some mistakes happening in whatever comes next. Like, no football club is ran 100% perfectly. They will all make a wrong purchase here or there. Not every player will be worth every penny. But it's about the amount of decisions you get right and the crucial ones getting those right. So, yeah, people got to get behind whoever comes in now. It's exciting. It's not going to be getting us out of the hole just yet, but it's instead of digging us deeper down into the hole that we are currently in, we might start looking up and trying to build the ladder to slowly climb out. And it will take time. I think that's the big thing I got to hammer home. Like, if people are expecting the club to be completely different in 2 months' time, you're getting yourself disappointed already, because it won't be like that. It's big, long strides. So we all gotta, start changing our mindset. They're doing the right things now at the higher ups, and we gotta have faith in whoever comes in. And that's exciting. That's really exciting. It feels so nice to know that the club might finally actually be going in the right direction instead of just sleepwalking into irrelevance.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what we've all been saying, that we need, significant change. And now with the CEO is gone, right? There's a new CEO to come in. At the moment, it is still top. And on top of that, we've also got a technical director coming in. I mean, I imagine, it'll be with regards to the decision making as to who manager sackings and manager appointments. I think it will be probably a committee. I imagine you've got a group of directors, right? Who kind of make these decisions. Obviously, top with the final decision at the end of the day. But yeah, do you think this increases the chances of Marty being sacked? Anil, let me ask you first, because you've got to say, if the new bloke comes in, he's got all these ideas in his head. Let's say we're still similar, mid-table. They might just pull the trigger and say, look, hand it over to the technical director. You know what I'm saying? If he's in.
Well, that's what they should do. So it ultimately depends if the technical director and the manager can get on. I mean, I remember that when Erik ten Hag went to Man United, they had Ralf Rangnick, and the idea was that Rangnick was going to stay upstairs, but he was like, no, I don't need his help. I'd rather do it by myself, which was a bozo decision, by the way. But that's what they decided to do. So, no, I don't think, it could be. But actually, controversially, Locks, I'd actually say it probably means that until that technical director is appointed, actually, Marty's probably got a longer stay of execution, because the technical director, or they might still fire him, but they'd probably put King in charge. I know he's your nightmare scenario, but it's like the last thing you want to do is appoint another new manager before the technical director comes in. But you know what, Locks? I don't know, maybe I'm bringing too much into it, but maybe they're speeding up getting the technical director in because they want the technical director to make that decision sooner rather than later, and to work out, what's going on here. That could well be the case. And also, it's not that uncommon. Like, by the way, Man City, the genius thing that they did is, before approaching Pep Guardiola, they got Chicky Begiristain because they knew that he would go to a club that was run the right way. And if you look at it, he's actually been in charge for Manchester City for like 2 or maybe even 3 times as long as he was in charge for Barcelona. And he said, because in this job, unlike in Barcelona, they just look after everything for me. Everything's done good. I don't have to worry about that. I've got complete faith and trust in the people upstairs. So we can see it. But I would say most technical directors, they probably are going to do the chop and bring in their own person, right? And a good TD would have their person in mind, right?
Well, I was going to say as well, Duck, but not only the manager, the scouting department, like the technical director, you would imagine would want to revamp that. And if that means, we don't know who this technical director will be. However, if it is somebody with a lot of experience who's been at other clubs as well, they'll have relationships with other scouts. They might want to bring in their own people on. Martin Glover.
They might.
But, sorry, one more thing, Duck. Sorry, one more thing for you to go to. One more thing to add to your answer, Duck. You could even have Martin Glover applying for that role.
That's not uncommon, right? I think it's about a year and a half ago now. Copenhagen lost their sporting director to Wolfsburg because he did such a good job at Copenhagen. Who did they sign to replace him? Well, the head of youth development, who was giving them golden generation year after year, they promoted him. And obviously, they also had some growing pains when a new sporting director came in. But he won them the title and got them to Champions League this season as well, even if they aren't having the best period right now. So, I mean, it is not uncommon to promote from within because they know the DNA and the club already. I do hope we point from outside. I think Martin Glover is very competent at what he's doing right now. And it would just open up another hole in, where to, in replacements we need. But in terms of the manager thing, depending on who comes in, obviously we'll have a better idea. It's too early to say before we know whoever comes in. But it is also about the style of football they play. How is Leicester performing? I think there's a chance if we still don't have a lot of money this season due to the legal case with PSI and everything, they might just be forced to not make broad changes in the beginning and be forced to wait out the season and whatever legal proceeding is going on in the background before they have leeway financially to maybe rebuild or expand a scouting team, a coaching staff, a new manager. So there might be a bit of lull time where the strategy is just being laid behind the scene before then later being able to be applied in practice due to whatever is going on in the courtrooms, which you don't know anything about. That's just a slight thing I have in the back of my mind that might hamper them in the beginning because that obviously is still an ongoing case, right? We don't know what happens there.
Yeah. So there was a comment here. Yeah, he's not gone, Jack. He's just been moved. Obviously, there's now a technical director that will be coming in. What's that? That's every Leicester fan channel's content cut in half now. That this
what
happens,
are we gonna do?
Yeah.
The bills are gone, man. The bills need to be paid, and we're not going to be through anymore. We're cooked.
Realistically, when do we think? Yeah, we just don't know, man. We don't know. It could already be done, and it's just not announced yet. It could get announced.
I think they'll be in for
tonight.
January. I think they'll be in for January because I think at minimum we could still make 2 more loan signings. And let's be honest, if you look out on the pitch, I think we could do with a couple more players in that squad. So I expect that to happen.
I think unless Top comes out in one of the interviews he'll be doing in the next period saying we're just in the beginning, it will take time before the appointment comes through. I agree with Anil. I expect something, at the latest mid-December where they will be in the job and then, getting ready to get to work throughout January and change whatever is really possible with the very small leg room we still have, as Anil says, with a few loans, right?
Anil, a lot of people mentioning Nigel Pearson's name here, although I do understand from what I've heard that he's unwell.
Yeah.
He's unwell. So
well, to be honest, he was my number one suggestion in the summer as well, just because he helped build the most successful period in King Power history, right? But I think the way that the modern game has gone, I think the thing is he still doesn't know it all, right? He doesn't have experience of setting up those departments or having the books and everything like that. So I think you need to get someone that you can't mess around there. You just need to have a good one because all the good teams, I'm thinking, just take a look at this summer, right? So, in Scotland, Hearts are top of the SPL, which is a very rare occurrence. But then you look behind the scenes and what happened? They got Tony Bloom's, imprint on the club has come on there. That's what happens. And he done it obviously at Union Saint-Gilles. I'm saying that name incorrectly. I know the Belgian league and stuff like that. So you want to have a smooth operator that's got this proven pedigree. Another example is look at Red Bull. Pretty much every time they take a team, they got that one in Brazil called Bragantino, and they were in the second division, and now they're in the top 3 or 4 in the Brazilian league the whole time as well. You want to have someone who's just very, very familiar, a shrewd operator, because I think, someone mentioned in chat earlier the Brighton and Brentford model. That's what we need to match, right? We're not expecting to win the Premier League or anything like that again, but everything is set up in Leicester with that academy, and we have got good pulling power with the name and the exploits the club has managed to achieve. So hopefully we could do that, but Boyman says, I'm wrong. It's about who's got the whitest trainers and who will rip a man's ears off. Look, Nigel Pearson, I got nothing but love for that guy. He's one of the best things that ever happened to Leicester City. And I would say, I think a good technical director would give him a call and maybe you can get him involved. Like one thing I do hope is I do think they need to get some of the players involved in some way, even if they're just more sort of like, what's the word? Like ambassadors or something like that. But it's like, where has that culture gone? Because the two best Leicester City teams I've seen in my lifetime, one was the Martin O'Neill team and one was obviously the Nigel Pearson Ranieri team, whatever you want to call it, right? So notice I didn't say the Brendan Rodgers team there. And what both those teams were made up of is they had characters that knew how to fight and they knew they wanted to earn their place and their chance in football. That kind of never, Foxes never quit. That's what's supposed to be, in the back there. What's happened to that? It feels like Foxes quit every time they go 1-0 down at the moment.
Yeah. I'm just looking at all the reaction online, and it's mostly positive. Of course, Doc sent us the name of somebody who was director of football, technical director.
I'll say
fucking
it's a club Denmark. I don't care about, and it's a British person. Like I'm not recommending a Dane here. He's from the UK. Like he's English, right? I do think Phil Radley could be a choice. Like I've bookmarked that article ever since I saw it come out in June, because I did think, like, if we were to add someone, he has the experience, in shaping a club and giving such a clear direction to it. And I was impressed with the job he did at FC Nordsjælland. Like, they have one of the best academies in the world, right? For such a small club. But as long as it's someone competent, I will be very open to it. And then I think, it would be nice for them to invite Nigel Pearson for a meeting and just learn about the club, the history, the culture, what made Leicester successful in the past, and then take that on board before they develop a brand new strategy and direction for where Leicester needs to move, not just for the next 2-3 years, but long term as well. With the stadium expansion, 10 years in the future, are we winning the Premier League again in 10 years' time? Maybe not, but who knows? Maybe that's the plan. And who knows? We can dream, right? We're Leicester.
Yeah. What's this? Anel? Simon? No. Who's this? David Weir. Oh, so is this the Brighton guy?
This is a guy that's out of a job. He was in charge at Brighton the last couple of years. They decided to go in a different direction after appointing Hertzler, but this is the guy that oversaw the sales of Moises Caicedo, Alexis McAllister, half the Chelsea team. But they also, they set it up using the affiliate, because again, like someone like this would be experienced in using our affiliate, which is OHL, to help develop the talent. Will we ever sign a South American player? Maybe it's back on the cards now, boys. But for some weirdo reason, Leicester have never done it. It doesn't make any sense when that's like a proven hotbed for talent at cheap prices.
Yeah, 100%. Right. We're going to end it there because we're going to be live later. We're going to be live later because we're going to have the interview from Top. So let's look forward to that one. Look, there's no doubt. I think that Top he's trying. Yeah, let's see how successful this all is. Again, I think people are right to be skeptical, but I don't think there's any need to be negative as such. I think the negativity is a bit too much. These are positive changes. So let's just wait and see what happens. But we will be back again live later tonight, and we will, when the interview comes out, whenever that is, and we will react to it. So I also heard as well, by the way, that there is a general manager. There's a new general manager. Whatever a general manager does at a football club, I don't know. I
mean, they probably just support the players in that, right? Well,
but they've been here that person's been here for a while, for a few weeks apparently. So anyway, that's
and again, like, that's another little small positive news, right? That's nice.
Bourbon Fox knows. Bourbon Fox has the news because they have the notification bell turned on YouTube, and there's only like 4% of you that have that. So on the subscribe button below this video, there's a little bell. Hit the bell, and you'll be notified when we're live later reacting to Top's interview. So cheers, Anil. Cheers, Doc. Cheers, everybody in the chat. And we'll speak to you later for the interview. Take care. No more 200 grand, but our new sponsors, The Beautiful Frame, have smashed it with this Jamie Vardy piece. It's unreal. They're a local Leicester business as well, which makes it even better. And not just City, they do prints for other clubs as well. So it's perfect if you are stuck for a birthday or Christmas present for one of your friends or family. Now, the best bit, they have sorted BTG viewers out with a discount. Just use BTG12 at checkout for money off. BTG12. Grab yours now at thebeautifulframe.com The link is down below.